Okay, let's go then. This is cool. The return of the Team Bosch presser. We saw this back in 2019, and it's back once again at the Bosch Power Tools Perth SuperSprint. So welcome Stephen Grove from Penrite Racing, topping that session. And alongside him today, we have Tim Blanchard representing Todd Hazelwood, who did a lovely job at the end of that session. And Brodie Kostecki spent a lot of time in the top three, which is why we've got Barry Ryan here as well from Coca-Cola Racing by Erebus. Start with the team who finished on top. And just an overarching view so far, Stephen, of how far you think this team has come in such a short time since you've taken over. I know it's a very overarching, broad question, but you must be thrilled with the progress.
Yeah, listen, the progress has been great. It's such a competitive field. For us, it was just about trying to get all the right people in the right place and then try and develop on what we've been able to build. It's a long road. We don't underestimate the task ahead of us, but it's been great to date.
Thoughts on your drivers at the moment? So obviously David Reynolds doing a wonderful job topping that session and having faith in a rookie like Matt Payne. You guys have had so much impressive stuff to say about him.
Yeah, Matty's going really well. The balance for us has been really good. Dave, so much experience and been around for so long. And Matty, it's his third race weekend. We're really wrapped with where he's going. We're able to overlay Dave's data on it. We actually, in that session, got him to follow Dave around the track just to pick up a few little points. So they spent 6 or 7 laps. And it was quite interesting because Matty was there or thereabouts with him, but then when we got on the radio and explained to him that he had better tyres than Dave, he sort of caught him so much quicker. So it's just a development program. He's competing with the best drivers in Australia. So to take that step's a big step for him, but we're really wrapped with the way he's going.
All right, nice work. I'm sure the journos will have plenty more for you, but I'll move it over to Tim and say nice job, mate, on being inside the top 3. Your thoughts when you saw Todd's name pop right up to the top and where you guys think you are on pace this weekend?
I think the session started pretty strong for us out the gate, and kind of in that top 10 most of the session, which was positive. And actually missed the last 2 minutes. Got a ride session with the Super 2, so I ran over here for that, and then watching it on my phone, like, oh, hang on, I've got to run back now. So, it's great. We've probably haven't had the best start to the season, been really up and down. I think we've had a lot of potential, but we've been fairly up and down, which is probably been a little bit disappointing, but I think that's a good start to the weekend, and hopefully we can really build on it from here.
How have you found the expansion from having Todd in one car and then bringing Aaron through in Dunlop Series? Yeah,
it's been really tough. I think every team in pit lane's really struggling to get the staffing to do what they want at the moment, and we're kind of like Steve on a journey of building our team. So we're still building all those processes in the background, resources and support we need to run the team properly. So it's been a good stepping stone for us as a team in our expansion plan. But it hasn't been smooth, but it's definitely been the right step for us as a team.
Have you been impressed with what the Groves have been able to do in such a short amount of time? And is there things that you can learn from them? I know you're just a single car operation.
Absolutely. They've come in and they obviously took over from Kelly Racing, but they've really moulded into their own I guess team, and it's very different to the Kelly Racing team that was there now, and it's very much Grove Racing, and you can see the difference, and they're doing a great job, and that's hopefully something we can emulate over the years to come, and get up the front and try and win some races too.
Okay. We'll go to Barry. Not the start that you guys wanted to that session, but once you guys had that little break drama sorted, it was smooth sailing from there, it looked like. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, it was unfortunate. Brodie had a little issue with the car, but we lost the first 15 minutes, let the other boys clean the track, so it wasn't all bad. We probably missed the race run we wanted to do, but Will backed us up on that and did a really good race run, so we know what to expect out of the car. And best thing is the two guys drive very similar and can drive each other's cars, so when we learn something on one car, we can transfer it to the other car, and it's been working, so it's really good.
Leading the Drivers' Championship, leading the Teams' Championship, won the Larry Perkins Trophy. You've got 2 drivers who are Supercars race winners now. I can see the sides of your lips getting higher and higher the more I talk about it. Is it just a happy feeling seeing things click at the moment?
No, it's funny because I thought it would be. I thought it'd be a relief, but it's actually not. It's like, we've ticked that box now. We've got to aim high. We've got to win this championship, not just compete and think, let's take another year to see if we can win a championship. We're going to win it this year, so we're not going to rest on it. So the pressure's on probably more than ever. But even though the workshop is very relaxed, the drivers are relaxed. It's probably me that's a bit sleepless nights, making sure we don't look like fools when we come to Perth like this and maybe not win. So yeah, we want to make sure that we don't go up and down the ladder. We want to stay consistently in that top 5, and that's how you win championships on history. You got to be about 4.2. You got to be a win average. So,
All right, let's get into some questions from the journos in the room then.
Just I guess any of you, but just thoughts on whether this practice format is something you'd like to see more of or less of?
From our perspective, it's good. It just, especially the new car, and getting as much track time with Matty as well. I really like the format because it just gives us such a long period of time to do a lot of changes and a lot of testing and trying different things. So for us, it's I like it.
Yeah. I know, from the team perspective, I agree. I think that you can do race run, do some quali sim. You can achieve a lot that you normally can't in, say, a 30-minute session. I'd be interested to see what the feedback is from the fans. I guess, from a fan perspective, it gets a lot more interesting watching those last 5 minutes when everyone puts tyres on, and the last few minutes watching people jump up and down. So whether having 2 or 3 separate sessions, we get 2 or 3 effective results, even though it's only practice throughout the day, whether that's more interesting for the fans. But I think from a team perspective, especially with these new cars, as we're trying to develop them, I think more laps and having the window to be able to do some proper changes and race runs is beneficial.
To Steve and to Tim, any initial feedback on the engine mapping sort of stuff from the drivers?
Well, I haven't spoken to Todd yet, but the fact I'm sitting up here means he'd probably be pretty happy, I guess. But
yeah, same thing. I mean, the guys haven't sat down and done any analysis, but obviously Dave's on top, so the process must be working.
One more from me was just Steve. No GT this weekend. Unusual. Any reason behind that, or?
Yeah, all of my racing is going to be done overseas this year in the Intercontinental, but we wanted to bring the car here just to get some laps in, and then Phillip Island prior to a test that we do for Spa. But our car coming back from South Africa didn't make it, so I think it just docked in the last couple of days. So we'll use it at Phillip Island in a couple of weeks, and then back overseas for Spa 24 hour.
Question to all three. There's, we've seen a fairly rapid evolution of these Gen 3 cars in terms of strengthening chassis, making changes based on the engine fires, mapping this and that, centre of gravity. Is there any outstanding stuff that you think needs to be addressed sooner rather than later with these cars? Obviously, until we go racing, it's difficult. Turn around, Barry, come on. There's things you're never going to find out until you go racing. What are we finding out, and what do we still need to evolve on these cars to make them better to race, better to work on, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good question. The first point is we've got to be able to bring the cost down. So that's something as a whole group, we need to be able to make sure that the splitters and the things that we're putting on the cars, we can fix them competitively. The cars have been built at a price. It's probably a bit higher than we would have all liked, but they are what they are. But for us, it's not so much the initial cost; it's the cost going forward. So we need to work really hard on that. I mean, parity is such an interesting topic. I mean, there's so many different differentiations. I mean, the motors are different. It's as simple as that in relation to, one's a GM and one's a Ford, or one's a race built-up motor. And that'll continue to evolve. The centre of gravity, yes, it has been changed, but I think Barry picked up on it. It's I don't even know what it was, like 0.007 difference. I mean, it's we're there and it's important we've got it, but it doesn't have a big impact. So I would just like to see that as a group that we continually work hard to bring the cost down, because it needs to be sustainable over the long term. And if it's not sustainable, it's a problem for the industry.
Yeah, I'd say probably not many people have said it, but huge credit to Supercars Technical for what they've done. Like, they got the cars very, very close, and to have the COG within 2 millimetres is big credit to them and the homologation teams. And the engines are really, really close. And obviously, the little mapping changes that Ford needed, that's just stuff for drivability, which we've heard about. But so parity is what we all want. Like, no, we don't want Camaros all up there and Ford down the back. So I think there was 6 Ford and 4 GM in the top 10. That's great for the sport. So as long as it keeps going over the weekend, it's only practice, but everybody had 2 green sets of tyres, so there's no excuses. And it's awesome to see a couple of different teams up here, not just the normal red and blue.
Tim, like coming back to the cost thing, as the smallest team in terms of everything, like how difficult is it? Like it is. These cars are proven to be pretty expensive to run. Are you guys feeling it a bit?
It's same as every other team, really. Like, BRT's a one-car team, but we've got some great partners, and obviously it's part of the wider Cool Drive business. So I wouldn't say we're the smallest team in every shape, but it's mainly the operational costs that we need to look at, and I think also the working on the car, like the labour component of it too. So I think it's quite labour intensive, and the what's required for some of the repairs we need to look at and improve, and just make, which will obviously impact the operational costs. So I think we've got a pretty good product. I think it looks fantastic, sounds great. We've obviously had some really good racing already with it. We're getting pretty close on the parity by the results and what we've seen so far, and it's evolving. Just there's a bit of stuff we need to get on top of, which was inevitable. You see that with any new make of in any championship, really. So.
Tim, now that you've got a young driver coming up through the ranks within your team, when will you make a call about who's going to be in your Gen 3 car for Bathurst?
In co-driver? Not sure. We were talking about that before. So, it's up in the air a little bit. Personally, I still enjoy racing, but
Tim's still young.
Yeah, don't feel like it some days. I still have a passion to race myself, but realistically, my other commitments in my life take up more and more time. So the chance to do racing leading up to the Enduros this year is probably going to be very limited, which makes it quite tough, because obviously the Supercar Championship is very, very tough and very competitive, and you're not on top of your game. You get found out very, very quickly. So we've got Aaron in the Super 2 program. He's done a great job in the past with Porsche, and he's learned the supercar very quickly. And from what we've seen so far, we're quite impressed with him. So we've got options. We'll see over the next month or two. And Aaron's keeps trying to trip me over. So we'll see what happens.
Perfect. Last call from anybody in the room. Going once. Thank you, guys, and well done today. Maybe see your drivers up here across the weekend.
Thank you, mate.
Thank you.